Yes, family tree. Welcome to Movement Decoded, and today we're going to do a session that's actually predominantly focused around bailing out of handstands. Now, this session is predominantly aimed for people who might have a freestanding handstand against the wall, back to wall, maybe even hold the handstand, but then as soon as they come away from the wall, kind of freeze up and can't seem to quite hit that bite point. It might also be for people who are doing kick-ups a lot like this and just constantly going up and not being able to hit the bite point to no avail. It's usually because of a fear of actually meeting the blind spots of where we start to go over, and it can maybe look a little bit something like this. And if you have done this before, you might have a little bit of PTSD essentially, and so we feel like we're safe just staying against the wall, and it makes it very, very difficult to come away. So this session today is going to be focused on how we can wean ourselves away from the wall and get comfortable covering all bases and all contingencies in our freestanding handstand. Now, it's nice and easy. The makeup of learning how to fall safely from our handstand away from the wall is being able to have confidence in going over ourselves, and we do this by just a simple rotation of the chest that we have to learn first before, for some of us, it doesn't come very intuitively or naturally. So the way we can build up into this is, first of all, just getting used to cartwheels. Now this may take quite a few sessions, or maybe like a little bit of time within one session to feel comfortable with, and that's absolutely fine. Just come back to the video and just slowly build up in a progression that suits you. The first thing that all we need to do is our cartwheels. And with my students, I always say, just stay on your gymnastic side. We usually favor one side and another side. When it comes to bailing out of our handstands, we usually fall to our habitual side. So you might as well just train that side until we feel confident in going both sides. But it's not necessary. So I like to cartwheel leading with my left leg and left hand. So we'll practice it going this way first. Well, I will at least. If you're more comfortable going over the right side, that's for you. And a little mantra we can have is hand, reach, hop, and land. And that's all we need to start with. Baby cartwheel, like so. And once we just get used to the mechanics, hand, reach, hop, and land, then we can start to progress that up a little bit more. Exactly the same mechanics, but we just bring the legs and hips a little bit higher. And because we're going in this lateral plane, it's a little bit more forgiving in terms of that fear of going upside down. So we want to eventually build up our cartwheel into going hand, reach, hop, and land. And if we feel very comfortable with cartwheels, just try and go nice and slow. Slow as you can. Going into that inversion. Doesn't have to be that slow. Just exaggerating it. But just feeling comfortable getting inverted from that sideways plane. Then from here, we're going to work on our L entry handstands. And the way we're going to do this handstand entry is the side that we like to cartwheel is the foot that we're going to step forwards first. Now, I actually prefer to kick up on my right side if I was going to go on my habitual side, but for the purpose of this drill, we'll do our kick up on the same side that we like to lead with. We're going to enter straight, step, reach. The hands are going to be square, like on train tracks. We just find a kick up. It doesn't have to be hips above shoulders, doesn't have to be in any particular range, just getting used to stepping with the leading leg of the cartwheel. Catch and push. Again, doesn't have to be held. It might even kind of look like this. The next step, which is really kind of the pièce de résistance already, is turning that entry of the handstand, but thinking cartwheel. So I'm thinking cartwheel as I go into it. And all we're going to do first is a little love tap with the outside hand. So if I step with my left leg forwards, my right hand is going to be the one that's going to kind of love tap the ground, and then crawl forwards and I'm just thinking cartwheel, really. So I lunge, as I tap that right hand down, I push into a cartwheel. So I'm really using that power of this motion, push, all of that really comfortable, open, safe perspective of a cartwheel, but it's doing it entering on the train tracks and opening it into the familiar zone, which is the cartwheel. So step, love tap, cartwheel. And we just repeat that Bruce Lee style 10,000 times until we feel like we can progress onto the next level, which is actually going to be kind of a tap, both palms tap and catch. So a little mantra, a little rhythm you can do here is tap and catch. So I step exactly the same, just a slow build up. Step, tap, catch. I'll do this in a couple directions. So again, I'm staying on that same side. Reach, tap, catch. From this side, I'll do it with the right leg. Step, so the outside hand, tap, catch. I'll demonstrate on the other side, one more. So if the right leg is forwards, that means I like to cartwheel leading with the right side. So the left hand is going to move. So again, tap, catch. Bruce Lee style, 10,000 times until we feel like we can move on to the next one, which is feeling a little sensation of timber, but turning it into our brand new area of contingency, which is our cartwheel. And this is usually kind of, once you've done this, you're good. You can wean yourself away from your toxic codependent relationship with pull the wall. And all this is, so I'm going to go back to leading side, my habitual side, left foot, left hand. All this is actually kicking up into your handstand, but letting time slow down a little bit to turn it into the cartwheel. So again, same step. I kick up, but I let it lean into the cartwheel. I'll demonstrate on the other side. So as the right leg comes down, the left hand moves on the outside. So I kick up and let it lean. So I almost want to feel that teeter point into feeling like I'm upright in my handstand to letting it roll into the cartwheel. So I kick up, lean, and the more you just allow yourself to commit to that lean, the easier it's going to be to move the hand. I don't have to hop and muscle it. I don't have to preempt it. As soon as you feel that kind of sensation, boom, you're already there. The lightness of the body, the intelligence of the body can really show up. And if this feels really intimidating, come back down, 10,000 reps, Bruce Lee style. Tap, cartwheel. And just feel the sensation of the hips going up and over, but just a little bit more sideways, a bit more forgiving, a bit more safer. And then, once we've done 10,000 reps, progress onto the timber and catch. So I'll demonstrate both sides from here. So as you're looking left leg forwards, so the right hand moves. Kind of forgot what I was going to do there. Timber and catch. So right leg forwards, the left hand moves. So I kick up, timber, catch, and go. And all of a sudden, now I feel safe to kick up and research a handstand without and removing any sensation of fear. Now, because we know our body is safe in a full 360 direction of falling, we either have not enough kick and down, or we have too much kick, cartwheel. Now, all we have to do is learn to rebalance until we find that middle way. So it might be you do loads of kicks, like, not enough. Not enough. And then all of a sudden, you're like, I need to go for it because I keep doing the same thing. So I really go usually, then we give too much because we haven't developed our sensitivity in the push yet. It's a little bit raggo. So when you kick too much, you're like, okay, that was too much. Turn it into the cartwheel. So let me rein it in again. So it might be a bit too much, catch, and come back down. Already the cartwheel is just starting to show up as a little handstand saver. Boom, push yourself down. Until maybe we kick up, and we find our line, and then we can go any direction we want to. But today's session isn't focused on rebalancing or actually holding the line of the handstand. It's actually probably a more important step of our handstand research, which is learning how to fall safely in order to give yourself the space and time and openness to explore all of these realms. But if we're doing handstands on the wall, not learning how to fall, it's very, very difficult to wean yourself away from that. So highly recommend we drill these 10,000 times, whichever progression you need to work on, until we feel comfortable. Then we can start to use the wall safely, and we can start to progress onto very, very similar drills of what we've just done here, but on the wall. So when you've got used to those cartwheel variations, then we can think about coming into a healthy, non-toxic relationship with pull the wall here. Because we're no longer relying on the wall to cover the blind spots of our fear from here, which really keeps us attached in an anxious attachment style to this wall here. So once we've got used to the cartwheels, then we can start to practice really, really efficient drills with chest to wall drills using the exact same method as before. So we can actually do our chest to wall handstands like so, and just do the same drill off the wall. First of all, it might be leg, hand, and down. That leg coming off will be just there to help counterweight you into the timber, really, which is what we've done in the middle of the room. And again, once we feel comfortable with that one, we have another variation we can play with. I really should have moved these plants before, but we've got another variation where we can do leg, leg, catch, and off. And then we've no longer got a fear of coming over and falling onto our back, or at least just not knowing what to do in that landscape of tipping over. We've got all bases covered using the basics of our cartwheel. All right, I hope this specific session on bailing out of a handstand served you well. Let me know in the comments if it worked, if there was food for thought. If you liked it, give it a little thumbs up. If you didn't, dislike it. Let me know what you probably want to see in future sessions, things you want to cover, and I'll do my best to help you out. And if you want to keep this synergy, this co-created space, subscribe to your boy, and we'll just keep evolving through this. Anyway, love, 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 family. Have a blessed one. Peace.